Hi and welcome to Intuitive Insights. On this channel we discuss everything to do with the ascension process. Today we're going to be discussing the new moon in Gemini, which is occurring at 2 degrees of Gemini on May 22nd, 2020. And one thing you're going to notice as we start going over the astrology of this new moon is the fact that there is 2s and 20s going on throughout this entire chart. And so when I was looking at it and thinking about it, it felt as though there's a resonance with this new moon and some of the things that happened on the 2-2 portal. Any of you who are familiar with our channel know that Kayla and I are very into the vibrational resonance of numbers. And we do videos on all of the different portals. I encourage you to definitely check out the 2-2 portal videos that we did. We did one on the 2nd of February, and we also did one for the 20th through the 22nd, because there was sort of a window there as well that opened up. We received lots of activations, lots of downloads. As we always do during portals, I honestly don't remember everything that was in the video. It was a little while ago that we did it, so I'm probably going to go back and look over those myself. So I'll put a link to those in the description box below. But it's very likely that we're experiencing themes that came up during that portal. It's also possible that we are experiencing sort of some deepening of the activations or maybe the synthesizing of some of those downloads that we received during that. But there's a connection there. There's a connection there. This new moon has pretty potent energy, I think. And it's sort of kind of like stands on its own energetically, as you know, we have a new moon every month, right? But this one just has a lot of oomph to it. It's almost like, you know, if I think about it more, like it feels as though it's a portal itself. So we're going to get into these energies, and we're going to get into all of the astrological aspects that are the most active during this moon. And be aware that it's not just the day of the new moon that we're feeling these energies. It's throughout. You know, time is fluid, energy is fluid. So it's on and around the time of the new moon that we're going to be feeling these energies. But I think the 22nd, just because of the numerology involved, is going to be, of course, the intensity of the energy and sort of like where that energetic opening happens for whatever it is that we may be receiving during this time. So we have, and I also want to let everyone know, there will be timestamps below if you want to skip to the reading, you're not as into the astrological discussion. So definitely look below for that as well if you want to just kind of skip ahead. But we're going to discuss just what's going on here astrologically, and, you know, the proliferation of the 2s and just how we see that playing out in the chart. And before we get into that even, I want to talk about just the vibration and the resonance of the number 2. And it's really interesting because all of the themes that the planets are sort of acting out fall in line with that vibration, that 2 vibration, right? So the 2 vibration is the vibration of our soul purpose and our life mission. It is the vibration of duality, of balance. It's the vibration of partnership. It's the vibration of like selfless service. And we're going to see all of these different themes coming up as we discuss the astrology. So we have, starting out, the sun and the moon conjunct, as they always are to new moon. So this is our masculine and our feminine energies. This is our intuition and our logic. And so these energies are vibing pretty well. They're getting together pretty well. They're in the sign of Gemini at 2 degrees. And so at the very beginning of the sign of Gemini. And so we want to look into just what Gemini energy feels like. Gemini energy is very childlike energy, especially in the beginning degrees of the sign. So it's like very explorative. It's very curious. Gemini wants to communicate. Gemini wants to just learn and understand all there is to learn and understand. It wants to have conversations with lots of different people, collect a lot of different perspectives, learn through not only what what facts and what materials they sort of mentally ingest themselves, but also to learn through other people's experience and the way that other people perceive things. They're sort of like collectors of perception. They want to understand everyone's perception. Gemini energy is the sign of the twins, right? So it's a dualistic energy. It's also an energy that can be a little bit fickle. It's very changeable. It's a mutable sign. We have a lot of mutable energy. We have most of the planets either in Gemini or Pisces right now, at least all of the ones that are the most active. So it's like the two signs that represent duality, right? We have the twins and then we have the fish. And then we have the duality of all of the twos, right? And so it's definitely feeling like a heavy mirroring energy. So this new moon feels as though it's sort of going to show what it's like, that as within, so without energy, right? So it's sort of really like giving us a taste and an understanding of the fact that what goes on within us is what we see without. And so a lot of the situations and the things that we're experiencing during this new moon are going to be like heavily mirrored aspects. It's going to be, we are experiencing our own internal reality manifested outwardly back to us. And, with all of these mirroring energies and just the energy of the twins and all of this as well, I'm feeling this for twin flames as a pretty significant event. So whether that's just the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves, because that we are absolutely doing that. And for some, this is, I can feel it almost sort of calling in the energy of that counterpart, if there is one in the physical, whether you've met before or not, or at least having that heavily on our minds, right? And so this is just another energy that feels prevalent that I'm sensing with this new moon. So we have all of that going on. We have all of this dual energy, this dualistic, mutable energy. So it's very much about change. It's very much about change, and it's very much about the mind. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that makes Mercury the ruler of this new moon. And if we look at where Mercury is in the chart, Mercury is actually conjunct Venus at 20 degrees of Gemini. And so we have another pairing here with the twos. And what we have here is it makes it very likely that one of the things on our minds the most, like Gemini energy is very mentally active. So we're going to be extremely mentally stimulated. We're going to be feeling a little bit restless. It might lead to a little bit of anxiety. It's a lot of that cerebral energy. But yeah, we have, and so it's being conjunct Venus, we have just that mind energy is really focused on our relationships. And this doesn't just have to be our romantic relationships. This can be our friendships. This can be the people in our circle, the people, our family, any types of relationships, but especially those social type relationships. Gemini is a very social energy. So we're looking at our associations. We're looking at our romantic partners. We're looking at all these things, these different things pretty heavily, and that there's just a lot of mental energy and focus going into that. But we're in a sign that's very adaptable and very flexible. And so that's the energy that we're being asked to take on. We also have the North Node in Gemini right now and the South Node in Sagittarius. And so I'm feeling this as a time where we're really being asked to forget everything that it is that we think that we know. It's sort of like Sagittarius has collected a lot of experience. They're very worldly. They've traveled. They're just people who collect experience, right? And then they synthesize all of that into a very stable worldview. And so we have that energy of like the things that we believe and we stand for, and we truly are like those kind of like black and white, like this is how it is. I know, I understand this. And the Gemini energy, so the South Node is our past energy, and the North Node is the energy that we're moving into. It's the energy of like what's relevant now. And so that new energy is asking us to forget all of that and to open our minds up again. Open ourselves up to new perspectives. Open ourselves up to the possibility that maybe we don't know everything. And maybe some of the things that we think we know and we may have believed and operated under the, like the things that we think we know may have conditioned a lot of our responses and the ways that we behave and the plans that we've made and sort of our goals in the past. But like maybe not everything was completely as it seemed. That's another energy that is a little bit prevalent with this moon. It's just sort of this things not being quite what they seem. We have Mercury and Venus being squared by Neptune in Pisces, which is at 20 degrees of Pisces. And so this energy adds sort of a mysterious kind of confusing aspect to things. It makes things a little hazy. So we may not be seeing things for quite what they are. People may not be showing us exactly quite what they are. Or we just may not be able to get a clear grasp on anything. Like we're thinking a lot, especially when it comes to partnership and all of that, but we're not really being able to get a clear understanding of like what exactly is going on or how it is that we want to move forward or like what it is even that we really are wanting out of a situation. And so we're being invited with this Neptunian energy to step back from all of the mental energy and to step back into our intuition, to step back into ourselves, to find the answers, not through just the logical processes, but also through the intuition. This is also, I feel like, our guides coming through strongly. Like we're being invited to lean on them. We're being invited to ask for help. They're there to lend their assistance in this process as we just sort of try to figure out a way to move forward and we try to figure out exactly what's going on. It's like just allowing things to be a little bit hazy right now and just getting comfortable being in that space of the unknown. There's a heavy energy of the unknown going on, which can be frustrating with all of this Gemini energy because Gemini very much wants to know. Gemini reminds me of, a child when they get to that point where they start, like their minds start really activating and engaging. And then they're just asking you a million questions. And as an adult, sometimes that can get kind of exasperating because we're just like, oh my God, like why? Why does it matter? Why does it matter why the sky is blue? Why does it matter why this is what it is? Like why? Like, I don't know. I don't even have all the answers for you, which that's a profound statement right there, right? Like, but it's like it gets a little overwhelming, but it's like they're asking us because they just genuinely want to know and want to understand, which is a beautiful thing. And so if we can stay in that energy, just that energy of openness, that energy where we're communicating openly, when we have Venus and Mercury conjunct, it does give us the ability to communicate a little more smoothly. Gemini energy can be a bit blunt. Gemini is really not about, it's an air sign, it's not about sort of like smoothing things over. It can be a very charming energy when it wants to be, but a lot of the time it's just not concerned with that because it's more about like getting to the heart of the matter and like uncovering the facts and sharing those facts. And like they want to learn, so they want to learn from a place of like sort of truth and like they want to kind of cut through a lot of that bullshit. Most of the time, Gemini energy has the bad reputation of being a bit duplicitous as well, because it's, the two aspects of the personality, right? That duality of like, just sometimes you never really know which twin you're going to get, right? So there is that aspect, but like they really a lot of the time are just pretty blunt. So with this Venusian energy coming in, it helps to kind of soften that a little bit. It gives us the opportunity to communicate a little bit more smoothly. And so we're going to want to be communicating. We just want to communicate from a place of like understanding that we don't have all the answers and that the person we're communicating likely doesn't either. And that there's a lot yet to be revealed and a lot that we aren't quite knowing just yet. So just keeping that in mind as well as we're moving forward. Now, while we have all of this going on, we also have the sun and the moon being squared by Mars in Pisces. And so this one isn't at 20 degrees. I can't remember what it is, but it's not a 2 or a 20. But it is still in a mutable sign. It's that Pisces energy. And so this is also, it's an interesting placement for Mars, because Mars is our drive, it's our ambition, it's sort of like how we go out and get what we want in the world, right? And Pisces is a very laid back energy. It's a very kind of go with the flow, intuitively led sort of energy. You know, like Gemini, very changeable, kind of its moods fluctuate. And so you know, we have Mars in this energy, and he's not necessarily functioning at his full capacity as far as like being that go-getter, right? He's a little bit more like, let's go with the flow. He's concerned with the welfare of others above all else. And so like we're really seeing and understanding how our actions have an impact on others around us. Like Pisces understands the interconnectedness of all things. So it understands that every action has a reaction. It understands that like what I do impacts not just the people that are close to me, but the entire world in general. Like it really gets that as within, so without kind of thing, right? And so Pisces is very concerned with service. It's a very selfless sign. So our ambitions and our drives are taking on a more selfless nature. And we may be sort of observing them and kind of like checking deeper into our motivations when it comes to things. Like, what is it that really drives me to do this or to want this? And like, is that based in unity? Is that based in love? Am I interested in refining my ambitions so that they are more based in that? Like, is that calling to me right now? So this is a heavy energy when it comes to our soul purpose and our soul mission, and sort of kind of calling that in. And it's a bit at odds with the Gemini energy, which is that restless energy that wants to move forward and just wants to act, right? And so the Mars in Pisces is kind of drawing us a little bit out of that action and into this place where things are a little bit more fluid. And so right now we're in being asked not so much to act, but to really just open ourselves up to new perspectives and new ideas. We have the sun and the moon also being trined by Saturn in Aquarius. And so Saturn in Aquarius is offering us solutions. It's offering us new, Aquarius is that inventive kind of energy, right? That genius kind of energy. So it's helping us to see outside the box and to see how we can create structures that are more conducive to where it is that we're wanting to go. And so that's actually a very helpful energy coming through from Saturn at this time. And it's just helping us to sort of rearrange some of that stuff, because Saturn is the planet that rules, structure and boundaries and our day-to-day lives and our physical reality, and sort of how we create a physical reality that is efficient and helps us to further our soul purpose and helps us to further our growth. So yeah, we've got some helpful energy coming in there. So we're going to have a lot of ideas pouring in. We're going to have a lot of ideas. We're going to have a lot of options. It's just, we may just be really confused over which option we're supposed to choose and how we're supposed to go about that. So it's just being open to those options, being open to communicate, being open to gather different perspectives, and really, like we said, forget what it is we think we know and just open ourselves up to the possibility that maybe our truth can be subject to revision, and we can sort of take in some of the information and some of the knowledge and inspiration that's coming to us to sort of adjust that truth to fit our lives and our understandings as they are now. And so we're going to get into the cards and we're going to see what those energies have to say. And we're going to start out with this new deck that I received as a gift that I absolutely love, the Black Moon Astrology Oracle. All right. New Moon in Gemini. What are we? Whoa, hello. New Moon in Gemini. Energies for the New Moon in Gemini. Energies for the New Moon in Gemini. Okay. All right. So what do we have going on here? We have the second house, which is all about owning. It's all about our material possessions, our material security, just, all of those. It's about wealth. It's about the things that we have and the things in our physical reality that give that reality structure. And so, this is definitely an energy. This reminds me of, that Saturn energy that's coming in to help us to restructure and to reprioritize. We have Venus, which in addition to representing partnerships, also represents worth, right? It represents self-worth. It represents, it represents money and wealth and abundance. And so these are other things that may be on our minds as well during this time. We may have our finances on our minds. We may have issues of self-worth and self-love coming up. We talked about this, how we're really, with Venus retrograde going on, going to be getting really deeper into this understanding of how we love ourselves. And that's when we talk about like as within, so without, right? How our relationships are a reflection of the worth that we have for ourselves and the love that we have for ourselves, and sort of what's hiding within our own hearts that is then reflected out into our outer reality. And we have the North Node here, which is life's purpose. And so this is sort of what we're talking about with the soul purpose, right? As we're coming into a deeper understanding of our soul purpose and what that is. And moving into that energy, we're moving into the energy of our future, right? We're being rooted in the present, but we're looking toward the future, and we're releasing all of the past stuff that's not serving us anymore. And some of us may be concerned or trying to figure out how our life's purpose is going to work out financially, how that's going to connect financially. That may be something that's on our minds as well. And what I'm also getting is that for a lot of people, in order to fulfill our life's purpose, we first have to understand our worth and know that we are worthy and we deserve and we are capable of what it is that we're putting our minds to. I mean, we've got the fire element here, right? This is desire, this is passion, this is creativity. And so it's like we are absolutely capable, but we have to know that. We have to know that we deserve it, and that that we're good enough. And so that's an energy that's going to be really important for us to look into this self-worth and this self-love and this self-value, and how that's also reflecting into our life purpose. And how our creativity is playing into that as well. Like, for a lot of us, we may be using our creativity in our life purpose. That may be part of the way that we show this and enact this life purpose in the world, is by utilizing our creativity. And this could be creativity in any way, but it's utilizing our passions, finding out what we are passionate about, and that the things that we're passionate about are the things that point us toward this life purpose. And so the more in touch we can get with ourselves and understand what it is that feeds that fire within us, the closer we'll be to our life purpose. Kayla and I just put out a video where we talked about life purpose and sort of the process of coming into that and finding that. And when we are finding our life purpose, one thing that I've found is that when I stumble upon what it is that is my purpose in life, one of the ways that I can know that I've found that is because it challenges me to grow. Like, in order for me to step into my soul mission, it's going to require me to refine certain skills. It's going to ask a lot of me. It's going to ask me to step outside of my comfort zone. It's going to ask me to do things that I haven't done before. It's going to require a lot of change, and it's going to bring up a lot of shadow stuff. And so the process of working through that shadow stuff is what brings me closer to this purpose. But like, when I know that stuff is starting to really come up in me as a result of me pursuing something that I desire, I know that that is connected. Like, that's a path that I'm meant to be walking, because I'm meant to work through that stuff. And possibly a lot of us, the things that we work through in our own lives are going to be the things that we then help others to work through. It's like we sort of show them the path to walk so that they can walk that path as well. And then we have Sagittarius, I see. And so this, it's interesting because we talked about how we're sort of with the nodes kind of moving out of that Sagittarius energy, but it's also just about It's interesting, actually, because the Sagittarius card is right next to the Saturn card, which is truth. So it's, I see truth is the way that this is sort of laid out as I'm looking at it. So it's coming to understand. So I'm seeing that again as sort of this revision and this understanding of how our truth is sort of changing, and we're being flexible to that, and we're starting to understand things that we didn't necessarily understand before, and we're starting to really connect with our truth, and things are being revealed. Things are being revealed to us. We're seeing things for what they are. It's this sort of these moments of clarity that we're having, and this is allowing us to step deeper into our own purpose, right? This is helping us in all aspects of our lives. This is helping us heal our relationships. This is helping us with our careers. This is helping us with every aspect. It's just like allowing these truths to be revealed. And a lot of this too, I'm coming back to the truths about ourselves and the mirroring aspect, and the fact that a lot of what's being revealed to us is what's being reflected from what we hold within. So a lot of us are coming to that realization as well, and working through those energies and just being really aware of that. These cards are so just absolutely gorgeous. So we're seeing, and there's a lot of cosmic energy in these cards. So we're seeing how it's sort of on a cosmic level, right? We're seeing beyond just the three-dimensional world. We're seeing into those higher realms and those higher dimensions. And we're receiving some of that insight and some of that knowledge as well. We're seeing, every time I look at the Sagittarius card, I always see the arrow, right? And so it's like we're seeing with the Saturn card as well, the route that we can take to create and to manifest the things that we've been desiring. Those understandings are coming through as well as we're looking into all of these different perspectives, and we're opening ourselves up to see things from different angles. And then we have Mars, force. And so this is the energy of, we've got Mars and we've got the fire with the desire, the fire element here, with the life purpose. So we've got a lot of energies that are very much wanting to push forward, wanting to move to that next phase of evolution. And the Mars card is about fighting for the things that matter to us. It's about standing up for, now that we are able to understand our truth a little better, to understand ourselves a little better, to begin understanding what it is we want. Like, we're going to be asked to move forcefully in the direction of our desires. And we also have Pluto, transformation. So it's just transformation after transformation after transformation. We're going through this intense transformative cycle, and it's bringing us into us. It's bringing us deeper into ourselves, into an understanding of ourselves. And we're really, the Pluto, the transformation card, is also about endings and beginnings. It's about the ending of cycles, the birth of new cycles, the rebirth of ourselves. And we are very much in a rebirthing process right now. And so I'm going to look at the Mars card a little bit and see if there's anything else. It says, war does not determine who is right, only who is left. The Mars card suggests there is something you may have to fight for. Yeah, Mars is the ruler of sexuality and aggression. It is a lustful planet that drives us, allowing us to face the difficult challenges in life and to follow our passions no matter what stands in the way. Desire, right? Life purpose. If we did not have a Mars, we could not know how to fight. This card also means to push back in terms of defense. When Mars is strong in a chart or a reading, you may either face aggressive situations with a need to confront or defend, or an intense, rousing sexual encounter, which may or may not involve romance. Mars indicates overwhelming attractions. This is a time when you feel not only forced, but driven. It is a good time to consider goals and desires and not allow them to fall into the shadows. Right now, action is needed. It is not a good time to sit back and wait. When this card presents itself, you are being challenged to protect your interests or to move ahead quickly on something. The Mars card indicates a type of passion and drive that is linked to the spirit and life force. In ancient British magic, this type of energy was the cunning fire that enabled men and women to act like gods and goddesses, to create and defend, to build energy, to seek and claim, to force and pursue, thus to change fate. Turning up this card infers that a fire has been lit under under the passions, and it is time to achieve what you want in life. At least you are being shown a clear path. It could be romantic or sexual in nature, or it could involve other types of relationships, but more importantly, goals that should be pursued at the current time and as vigorously as possible. It can also indicate a formidable competitor has just arrived on the scene. Yeah, so it's asking us to take action. It's asking us, how do you create momentum to achieve your goals and desires? Have you been challenged to protect your own interests? Are you being pushed too hard by someone or something? How do you clear your path to get what you want? Are you willing to battle? And so, yeah, there's a lot of this energy of standing up and fighting for what it is that we believe in. Like when we discover our purpose and we discover our passions and we discover the direction that we're being led, like we're going to have to work for the things that we want. We're going to have to put in that work. We're going to have to allow this process to transform us. The Pluto is also, it rules the shadow, right? So we're going to be forced to, just like we were talking about, in this pursuit of those things that we desire, in this pursuit of our mission and our passion and all of that, we're going to be forced to face our shadow. And those aspects are going to be coming up for us to work through. We also have on the bottom of the deck, Yod, destiny. And so it's just destined and fated events, destined and fated meetings, just really feeling as though we're being pulled toward our destiny. And which is, it's an intense energy, right? It's a very intense magnetic energy when we're feeling that destined and fated energy in the air, and it's calling us, it's pointing us in the direction that it is that we're wanting to go, that our soul is yearning to go. A person often meets his destiny on the road he took to avoid it. That's funny. The ancients believed that the Yod was an area of fate in the chart and not a particularly favorable one. Also called the Eye of God or the Finger of God, the Yod is a peculiar astrological configuration in a chart. And then it goes on to talk about the Yod. We're not going to read all of that. Causing matters to be fated and often difficult, but not without their rewards. Yod configuration is influential and implies that there is a disruptive force at work. In a sense, this astrological placement of planets is somewhat in exile from the other planetary energies because they are not harmonious with each other and therefore cause tension. This brings about feelings of intense stress and restriction. There can often be a sense of being different, feeling alone, and being out of step with others at times. A Yod in a natal chart can even indicate being the black sheep of the family. And so I'm feeling this as, and especially right next to the Pluto card, this is also, there's like a tower energy. So it's sort of, as we were talking about, just things being removed, things not being quite what they seem, challenges that are forcing us to grow, forcing us to fight for what it is that we want, forcing to step into this Aries I am type of energy, right? Really calling us to action, and just like the impetus that creates that forward movement, that creates that sort of that burning away of all that is no longer useful, and creates and lights that fire of passion within us. A lot of chaos, just really needing to stand our ground and step into our truth, and finding our truth, and finding a lot of growth through painful circumstances and challenging circumstances. For a lot of people, like, we've been in that energy and sort of going through that process of just being challenged and having these events sort of that we've been working through that have been forcing us to grow and forcing us to step deeper into our power and our own sense of personal autonomy and authority, which is very much the Aries energy, right? Let's see. It will be hard to see any clear path because of the chaos, but it will be important to weather through it all. This is not always bad because it is a process of finding what works and what isn't functioning, and now will be the time to be scaling things down and weeding out what is unnecessary. More than that, this card is about finding your own truth and through that truth, or though that truth may not be reflected through others. You may wish for more support when this card shows up, and will have to manage this all on your own. Another development may turn up, and that is you will prefer to work it out on your own without any interference from others. This card can denote a voyage inward and come into your own truth. There really isn't anyone who will have the tools to figure this out more so than you at this time. You may not be the best. May not be the best time to take advice from others. Your inner knowing has it already. You just have to take the time to process the information to come to your own answers. So it's like we're in this energy where we're being open to different perspectives and we're being open to communicating and all of that. But at the end of the day, our truth is our truth. And nobody else can make up our minds for us. Nobody else can tell us what that is. It's not, when we're being open-minded, it's not about taking on everyone else's opinions as our own. It's just about allowing other people's perceptions to help us to see where we can open up our own perception. Yeah. More positively, this card means that circumstances are good for achieving your goal, but be prepared for sacrifices on your part, and not just one, but several. It will not be an easy path, but it is a time to expand your focus. You have a desire for greater awareness, which will come through dedication, but patience and adaptability are necessary in making the situation work to fulfill your greater purpose, the one you were born for. Yeah, and then we have Aquarius. I know. And so coming to our truth, coming to our understanding, coming to Aquarius is very firm in itself. It's very firm in its knowing. And Aquarius energy is once they know and they understand and they know what they stand for, like really truly stand for, they're absolutely willing to fight for it. They're willing to fight for anybody and everybody else, right? They are the ones that they're the mavericks. They're the ones that come to shake up the world. They're the ones that come to call out injustice when they see it, and to help humanity to evolve, to help everyone to strive to be better. And like Pisces, Aquarius is an energy that's very much about the collective, but they're also about the individuality and standing strong in their individuality while being a part of that greater whole and understanding the difference. Like they understand the concept of selfless service, but they also understand the importance of standing their ground, and they understand the importance of like setting boundaries and of not sacrificing who they are in the process, right? Like they're not losing themselves in the collective. They are standing firm and strong and shining as who they are as part of that collective energy. And just working to make it better, working to be that force in the world, that person that people can look up to. They're leaders, right? They're people that show and pave the way forward for others. Like I'm seeing that a lot with a lot of this destiny energy, this Aries and fire energy is just a lot of that. Anything else from this deck? Yeah, so we have water element sensing and Pisces, I believe. And so this is all about utilizing our intuition in the midst of all of this mental energy. It's about utilizing our intuition, going into that to really connect with the ways forward as we're being presented with all these circumstances that are challenging us, just really sinking back into our own knowing, right? And we find that in our intuition. It's emotions. There may be a lot of emotions coming up. Just a lot of emotion and just sinking and allowing ourselves to feel the emotions that are coming up as we're going through this transformation process, but not getting caught up in those, not allowing that water to dim the fire, right? Like utilizing our intuition and utilizing that sense and that. And what's coming to mind for me again is just that thing where it's saying like a lot of us know the truth. We know what our own truth is, and we know the truth about situations that may be a little bit hazy or may not be clear right now. And so just trusting in our own knowing and acting from that place. acting from that place of knowledge and belief. Pisces energy is throughout this this chart right now, right? And so it's that being in that, it's once again just really being in that intuitive space and just in that idealistic energy. Pisces energy is very idealistic. So this is an energy that we're definitely involved in right now, but it's like taking those idealistic goals and finding a way to make that a reality, like this vision, this world that we're creating, right? Like knowing that it's possible, but like taking that idealism and finding a firm footing for that, finding a way to create that in the material realm. And I just want to look here. Let's see. I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depths and a great fear of shallow living. In faith and trust, you must surrender to what is. Pisces, the double fish, is ruled by Neptune, god of the waters, oceans, and seas. It is a mutable sign, its home being the 12th house of self-undoing. It is mysterious and unfathomable, but can indicate a life that needs clarifying as well as definition. Yep, compassion, need for boundaries. Take advantage of inspiration and channel it into a creative project. So that's where that fire energy comes in, right? If you have a notion or a dream, swim to it. Capture that wave. A great idea from the past may reemerge, and you may want to return and finish it. But you will want to tackle this idea soon when you are inspired, or the entire matter could disappear into the rushes of the deep. About your question, well, we didn't really. You may be confused by the reactions of others or simply unable to get to the correct answer. So this is that mysterious energy, right? That hazy Neptunian energy. Pisces can be like a pristine sea or the muck of a swamp, so getting lost is a danger. Make sure you're not being pulled under by other people's complications. It's even possible that you have someone in your life who saps you. Usually this is not intentional, but because of some delusional way of unthinking or viewing the world, that clouds the issue. Don't fall into the same confusion. Make sure you are protective and have the proper boundaries. Yeah, and this came out right before the 7th house card, which is partnerships and relationships, right? So yeah, just being aware of that, and just this whole energy of utilizing our intuition to guide us through the matters of relationship that are coming up. And setting those firm boundaries in our relationships with others. Okay. So that was an interesting little spread there. It's a lot of like, we're in this hazy place where everything seems kind of confusing, but at the same time, like internally, we have a knowing. And so it's just reconnecting to that knowing, but being open to all of the different possibilities at the same time, right? Like being open to seeing things from other people's point of view and to communicating, but also like trusting our own inner knowing and, acting from that place when we feel strongly in that direction. And we're going to pull, a couple of the advice from the Ascended Masters. Okay. So we have Cernunnos, life force. Express your driving passion. Sensual and sexual powers are increased. So this is, our life force energy activating, right? Like our passions and our drives and our desires, and how we're being very fueled by those right now. And just the energy that's available to us as a result of that. I actually want to look this up briefly, because he's an interesting one when he comes up. So we have, there's a deep buildup of life force within you now and a need to channel it into action. You may have extra energy or be more alert than usual, or be aware of a sense of increased sensual or sexual energy. If you have been unsure how this ties into your spiritual path, know that it can allow you to access the richness of your soul. When we are not expressing ourselves sexually, our spiritual potential can become tamed or muted. So if you're denying yourself a desire, ask yourself how you can fulfill it. Ask Cernunnos to help you access your sexual self so that you can express it with integrity in a way that honors your soul. Yeah. So just the understanding and sort of the melding and the looking at, we talk about this sometimes, the looking at our sexuality from a spiritual point of view, right? And that it is like the energy that is life force energy, right? That is creation energy, and the power of that. And a lot of us stepping into our empowerment around that. And also just being really driven by, there's a lot of, we had all those Mars cards and those, the Aries energy and all of that. Like there's just a lot of heavy sexual energy in the air, you guys, a lot of passion. I feel as though if any relationships or are starting during this time, it's going to be pretty hot and heavy, intense stuff. Pretty hot and heavy, intense stuff. Destined and fated, whether that's for a season or for, a longer period of time. Just, yeah, a lot of that, and just really coming into our own around that, and finding and figuring out and learning how to express that constructively. There may be times in the past for a lot of us where we maybe felt and experienced a lot of this energy, but we didn't know how to channel it appropriately, and we didn't know how to express it in a way that was in harmony with our soul. And so we could be in a process of learning how to do that as well. And then we have Gaia Earth connection. Whenever I see this card, it's just about staying grounded throughout this process. And just, Cernunnos, you can see too, he's like this card has it's like a nature vibe, right? So just really staying connected to the planet, connected to your life force energy in every way, not just your sexual energy, but every way of being connected to your incarnation in this physical world, your physical senses, being rooted in that, grounded in that. We have Odin, psychic insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. So yeah, letting our intuition guide us to our truth. And our truth, not another person's truth, right? And then we have Mercury, open communication. Get a weight off your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. So this is just that Mercury energy, right? That Gemini energy, just really being open and communicative, but from a place of love. And with all of this passionate energy in the air, we're going to want to call on that finesse of Venus to help us through these conversations. But we are going to want to have, anything that's weighing us down is ready to be released. So just allowing that process to happen. And then, as I said, allowing that process to happen, I look down at Lady Nada, heart awakening. Awaken to acceptance and divine love. Give and receive in balance. Right? So that's that 2 energy. Giving and receiving, balance. And just, allowing our intuition and our hearts to guide us through this process as we allow them to guide us through every process, right? And then we're going to pull a couple of these as well. Advice for the new moon in Gemini. Advice for the new moon in Gemini. Okay, so we have Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? So once again, with that energy of authority, right? That empowered energy, that Mars energy. How are you being called to be the leader in your own life, to sort of help others to understand and to see things from a different perspective? Maybe a lot of this Mercury energy is going to facilitate us being able to open other people up to different perspectives, right? And yeah, we're being called to be, a lot of us are being called to be leaders right now. We're being called to step into our authority, to step into our power, to step into our truth, to speak our truth and to live our truth, and to show other people how to do that. Because a lot of people, it's confusing and it's hard, right? A lot of people just don't know. And we may have been those people who didn't know either. We had all of these ideals and we had all of these values, and we just did not understand how to, try as we might, it was much more difficult to live by those than we wanted to let on, or to let other people believe. And like, we're coming into our empowerment of being able to do that now, and being able to stand up with integrity, and to be those leaders, to be the pioneers, the people blazing the way, right? Like, we have Lemuria here creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So like, the leaders, the pioneers that are leading people towards this, right? And this new earth is all about people being in their creative power, people utilizing their skills and their talents for the highest good, like everyone doing what feeds them and what drives them and like what they're passionate about. And so showing people the process of doing that, it says just say yes, like showing people how to say yes to yourself is what I'm getting from that. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to yourself. Allow yourself to be that leader, to trust yourself, learning how to trust yourself. And then as we learn how to trust ourselves, people naturally begin to trust us more. So it's like learning how to trust ourselves, learning how to say yes to ourselves. And then we have take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So it's like we have all of this fiery, action-oriented energy, but we also have all that Neptunian energy right now. So it's from this point, we're going to be called to take great action, right? But in this exact moment, just allowing ourselves to relax a little bit and to rest and to sort of take things in, right? And to allow those plans to formulate, allow that Saturn and Aquarius energy to help show us the path forward and how we can move toward the things that it is that we desire. But also like taking time, like we need to take time to recharge, no matter what it is that we're doing. We need to take that time for ourselves. We need to say yes to ourselves when it comes to caring for ourselves as well. And just knowing when it is to step back and take a break. As we're communicating with people as well, that's coming up. Knowing when it is time to step back and take a break. That can avoid a lot of unnecessary conflict. And then we have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So this is as we're coming into our purpose, we're coming into this energy, right? We talk about this all the time, like how we're satellites, right? And we're just here receiving this energy, anchoring in this new light grid and all of this. But at the same time, not only are we here to be the energetic anchors for the new earth, but we're also here, we have another mission that's evolving as well, to uplift humanity and to show humanity, to step up and lead, to be that guiding, driving force that is showing people how to honor themselves, how to honor others, how to honor our souls, and how to live from that place of honoring our souls. And so that's part of our mission that's developing right now and sort of coming to fruition. Yes, and then a reminder, we have keepers of the earth, you are not alone, ancient ancestors stand behind you, beside you. Yeah, so just knowing that we're being supported, even though we may feel as though we're walking this path alone. And part of that is needing to do that in the physical, needing to learn how to do that, how to stand in our own authority, right? Like if we're going to be the leader, then that means that other people, we are inspiring people, and we are motivating people, and we will have people behind us. We will be guiding people, but we have to have the courage to step forward first. And so we may feel as though we're walking this alone in some respects. Like there's initiations that people are going through that are like that they have to do alone physically, but we're never alone spiritually. We have a whole team of helpers and supporters in the spiritual realms. And if we need help or guidance with something, they're always there waiting for us to ask them for help. So just also knowing that help is available to you in the spiritual, as long as you just ask for it. And then we have boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Which is pretty self-explanatory. All right, and let's see where we're at for time. It's, long as usual, but that's okay. I love all of you guys, and I love doing this with you guys. So we're just going to pull a mystical shaman oracle to close. Guidance for the new moon in Gemini. We got thunder, 56. Legends speak of great thunder beings who live in the sky and call for your attention when great occurrences are meant to happen in the world. They warn when tensions in a situation are called upon to be released. Their presence in your reading reminds you of the dramatic moments in life that change everything. Both awesome and frightening when thunder arrives, it is also a wake-up call, one that you will not soon forget. When thunder comes into your reading, it refers to a big dramatic change that feels like a herd of wild bison on the run. You feel it right through your bones, and you know that you are powerless to influence whatever events have been set in motion. This is a time to be prepared for anything. Your life is an adventure, and wonderful opportunities are arriving now. The trick is to learn to run with them. Qualities that you'll need now more than ever are flexibility, dexterity, and a willingness to experience it all without dictating from where or in what form opportunities will come. Your destiny is arriving. Be ready. So that's amazing. So we have all of this crazy energy, right? We have all of these destined to fate and fated events. We have all of these triggering events. We have all of this stuff that's really calling on us to step into our truth and step into our power and really understand what our truth is and what it is not, and then be ready to defend that, right? So like we're on the offensive in a lot of ways, and we can hear the thunder in the distance, right? And we're just like, I don't even know what's coming next. And it can be, it's a challenging experience, but it's really helping us to grow, and it's really helping us to step into ourselves. And there is so much, this card is just magical looking, right? There's so much magic on the horizon for us. Like things are dropping away. Things that no longer serve us are leaving. We're ending cycles. We're beginning new cycles. There's so much happening. There's so much momentum, but it's all good and it's all for our greatest good. And anything that's being cleared away is paving the path for something new and better. And so just always keeping that in mind and being up, like it says, being flexible, right? That's what this new moon is all about, flexibility and adaptability, and just allowing the universe to do what it does, like doing what we need to do and taking the action that we need to take and standing up and being that person, that leader in the world, right? But also allowing the universe to lead with us, allowing our ancestors and our guides to walk with us and to guide us, and just being open to keeping that perspective open, being open to seeing how things change and evolve and not getting stuck or attached to one specific way that we think that the things are supposed to manifest for us, right? And then we have Eagle, and I want to read this too. It says, Eagle comes from the east, the place of the rising sun, of new beginnings. She soars high in the sky, sees the smallest detail with clarity, without losing track of the bigger picture, and rests in the high mountains. For Eagle, there are no obstacles, only opportunities. She calls you to ascend, to acquire perspective, so you can fly wing to wing with the Great Spirit. Have you become trapped in your daily routine and feel that you do not know where to go and what to do next? Have you lost your sense of purpose? Eagle invites you to take a deep breath and spread your wings. When was the last time you opened them? Eagle reminds you that your spirit was born to soar to the heavens. As you contemplate choices, ask yourself, do I want to live in a chicken coop, sheltered from life, counting the regular feedings, or do I want to soar like an eagle? If your answer is the latter, then you must accept Eagle's invitation and embrace the courage that will help you choose freedom. And then we also have the journey here, which is 29. We got the bird again there, right? This time it's an owl. It's an owl. There's all kinds of, this guy's just got wings upon wings upon wings. And this is the journey, right? The journey that brings us to everything that it is that we're seeking. The journey that makes us into who we are, that we have to embrace, right? The journey is an invitation to step outside the boundaries of your life as you know it. The journey is not a holiday. It is a call to be hermit-like and to go on a pilgrimage into the unknown. There are no maps to the territory you will be exploring, no marked paths or road signs. The time to embark on the great journey is here. Do not linger in the port while distant shores are calling. Fearlessly draw your own navigational charts as you discover the route. When the time is right, as it is now, you will be led true, even when you are not sure of where you are going. It is the departure that is most important. If you miss the boat, a great opportunity will be lost, and another ship may not arrive for a really long time. So this is all just calling us to really spread our wings and fly, right? to embrace the thunder, to embrace the lightning when that comes, right? To just step into this role that we're being given. We have the giveaway here, right? It's which is it's receiving, it's giving and receiving. It's all of that beautiful. I'm feeling that Venusian energy from that card. Oh, she's just so pretty. She keeps drawing me in. Yeah, I love it. With all of the moons too. But yeah, sorry, that totally distracted me. But yeah, we're being called to spread our wings and soar. It's like the journey of our life's journey and our life's purpose is calling to us. And it's like saying yes to that, stepping into that, like boldly going in the direction of our dreams, despite our fears, and really just overcoming those fears. And so that was a really interesting reading. That was not 100%, like that took us in a really interesting direction, not necessarily where I had fully anticipated it going. But that's awesome. That just, that's sort of what we're being asked to do right now, is to adapt, to be flexible, to flow, and to move in the direction of our passions and our desires and our dreams. So this should be a really interesting time, you guys. It's like we're being initiated into this next level of our being, right? I'm interested to watch the 2-2 portal video and to see what Kayla and I were feeling back then for the energies being called in, because it's sort of like a deepening of that as well. So maybe some of those downloads and those activations that we received are coming to fruition and sort of fueling this action and this fire within us now. I'm not really sure, but I'll definitely put the links to those in case you guys want to check those out below and just like enjoy. Make the most out of this energy. The challenges are put there for our growth. They're leading us to our destiny. They're helping us to become the person that we need to become in order to embrace our destiny. And like once we become that person, then we act from that place of empowerment, and we move forward fearlessly and with integrity. And we are those pioneers that show people how to do that, which is absolutely fucking beautiful. If you guys liked this video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to catch more videos. Kayla and I both offer energy healing sessions as well as readings, so reach out to whichever of us you resonate with if you're interested in those services. We each have our contact information listed down below, so just scroll down for the appropriate person's information. And we absolutely love you guys so much. We also have a link if you want to donate to our channel. It helps us to keep putting out more free content for you guys. We absolutely love doing this. This is our purpose and our soul mission, at least the level that's been revealed to us so far. And like we absolutely love it. And we want to keep doing it when we want to anchor in this new abundance consciousness, this new earth where everyone is doing what feeds their souls and doing what they were put here to do. And yeah, you guys are a part of making that happen for us. So we appreciate you so much. We love you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Happy new moon.